Hello, Al Pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents, a Big Al ramble about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the series that just finished up its first season on Paramount Plus, and how I view the current state of Star Trek. This is not a review as much as it is a genuine ramble. I'm just going to be talking about how I feel about this show and the current state of the franchise, in my opinion. I emphasize that because that's what we're all are on YouTube. It's just opinion. But first, alert condition red for spoilers. I may be giving some plot points away. If you don't want to know anything, or if you haven't finished the season, this is your warning to maybe hit an escape pod right now and come back later. But I always like to give this warning just in case. Now on to my ramble. When I first heard that Star Trek Strange New Worlds was going to be a thing, I was cautiously optimistic. Now, I know a lot of people think I'm always cautiously optimistic, and I am for the most part. But there have been instances where I haven't been for some franchise for some reason or another. But I want to explain where I came from on Star Trek and how I got to be cautiously optimistic. As most of you know, I am an older gentleman, and I have loved Star Trek my entire life, my entire conscious life. I cannot remember a time that Star Trek did not exist. I can't remember when I was an infant. Sorry, I don't have that kind of a memory. But I grew up on the original series, loved it. It was my primary fan addiction when I was a kid. And then the movies came along and I loved them. And I'll even say Star Trek V, as many problems as I had with that, I still prefer it over most other things out there. And then came Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Star Trek Enterprise, and I love them all to varying degrees. I'm not saying they were all perfect. That's fine. Then we hit a speed bump. J.J. Abrams rebooted the franchise in the movies, and I will say it was a very mixed bag for me. I really liked the casting. I was very ambivalent and, not quite sure about the stories, but that starship was but ugly. The the Enterprise from the JJ verse is just an atrocity. And then something terrible happened to the franchise. It caught an STD. And I think we all know what I am referring to. But within that STD, the cure for the STD, the antibodies, as you may think, were kind of formed within the virus, the disease itself. Ethan Peck, Anson Mount, and Rebecca Romaine brought to life three of the original characters from the original pilot, The Cage, and of course, which was repurposed in the Menagerie in the original series. We get Captain Christopher Pike, Spock, and number one, who was given the name Una Chin Riley for Strange New Worlds. And they appeared in aforementioned virus, and I saw a flicker of hope. And that is why I went into Star Trek Strange New Worlds cautiously optimistic. I knew these characters, and I knew that ship, and I wanted to see what they would do, and I hoped beyond all hope that it would be good. And thank the Lord, I was right. Star Trek Strange New Worlds was the perfect antibiotic for this STD. It took all the terrible things that SDD had wrought on the franchise. And to me, we're able to push them out, and the franchise felt like it could heal because of Strange New Worlds. Beyond the fact that Anson Mount playing Christopher Pike is one of the best captains that I've seen in the franchise, Ethan Peck has done a marvelous job at portraying Spock. And I would hazard to say only Leonard Nimoy has done it better. I regard him that highly in this role. And Rebecca Romaine has an authoritative gravitas perfect for an executive officer. And then we get a crew that we could really get behind with some old favorites and some new characters. And I want to talk about them a little bit more in a moment. But Star Trek did something that it needed to do beyond all things. Me being a Starship snob, it brought the USS Enterprise back to being the beautiful starship it is and should have always been. This ship is a beautiful homage to the original series Enterprise. It has just enough of the refit in the pylons that lead up to the nacelles to kind of evoke that. Of course, it is brought forward for today's aesthetic and where the series aesthetic is now. That's fine. I can live with that. This ship is beautiful. It is 95% what the original ship was. And I would even go as far to say, and this may sound sacrilegious to many people, I love this ship more than the refit Enterprise. That is how much I appreciate this one. Because the original Starship Enterprise is the benchmark. You can never top it. But this ship has become the closest. Thank goodness. If J.J. Abrams had used this ship, that movie series would have been, to me, infinitely better. And then, of course, we get wonderful characters. We get the old favorites recast wonderfully. Celia Rose Gooding as Uhura. I know a lot of people were kind of wondering when they first saw her picture and wondering if they made the right choice. Folks, they did. She is perfect for Uhura. Nichelle Nichols, if she has seen this, I know would give her blessing because she has bought Cadet Uhura on her first training assignment to life, and it was glorious. She did a great job. Thank goodness. Also, older characters, Nurse Chapel, played by Jess Bush, who is now my brand new Star Trek crush. A little bit flirtier than Majel Barrett, but that's fine. And great chemistry with Spock, which I always liked the Nurse Chapel Spock dynamic from the original series, and they're playing that a little bit, and I really enjoy that. And the two actors seem to really have some good chemistry with each other. And we get Dr. Mabenga, who did appear in the original series only a couple times, I think. One very significantly. I think he popped in twice, though. Played by, and I'm not going to try to say this actor's name because I would butcher it, but he is wonderful. And we get some new characters. Melissa Navia plays Erica Ortegas. Christina Chong playing Lan Noonien Singh. Yes, she is related to Khan. And they have been wonderful. And I know a lot of people will go, well, look, they're casting all these women. I don't care because the original Star Trek was very diverse. So why not this one? So to me, that argument is moot. And you get Bruce Horak, who plays Hemmer, an Andorian engineer aboard the Enterprise who's blind because he is a part of a particular aspect of Andorian who was from a different area, and he's blind and doesn't need his sight. All his other senses are what he uses. And he was such a wonderful and significant character. And here's where I have to give something away. Sadly lost in one of the late episodes, died a glorious death. He was always meant to die and did it to protect his crewmates. It was a very courageous death and just an emotional highlight of the season. And they brought in James T. Kirk. Paul Wesley. I know the Twitterverse lit up wondering what they were doing, but I actually think they did it in a smart way. The final episode wondered what if Pike had never had the accident that incapacitated him. Trek fans know what I'm talking about. If you ever saw The Menagerie, you know what I'm talking about. If he is able to alter that future, they wondered the episode from the original series, Balance of Terror, with Pike in command instead of Kirk, how would that situation with the Romulans have played out? And we find out it would have played out much different and much worse. So we get Kirk, and I got to give Paul Wesley all the credit in the world. I think he did a great job bringing Captain Kirk to the screen again. And how much he may show up in the future, I don't know. But it was a future vision, sort of. So this isn't exactly, I don't think we're going to exactly get Captain Kirk. We may get Lieutenant Kirk or something like that. But they had the intestinal fortitude, the testicular fortitude, however you want to say it, the balls to bring in Kirk, and did it well. So I gotta give him credit for that. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I loved every episode. I loved all the characters. The storylines to me were entertaining and enjoyable, and I had a blast seeing Star Trek come back to greatness. And that is how I am currently choosing to view this franchise. It is relevant again to me. It has washed away the bad disease that was that STD, which they really need to stop. They need to focus on this show and bringing Captain Pike and his adventures to the screen, because I've loved every minute of it. I'm looking forward to more. Are we going to see more classic characters come in? I don't know. I would hope we may see a certain Scottish engineer, since they did lose an engineer this season. I don't know. Well, we'll see. There's still a few years before the era of Kirk's 5-year mission. Pike still has a long adventure ahead of him, and I am looking forward to every moment. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there, and that's fine. They can moan and bitch and do whatever they want to and saying how bad Star Trek is right now. I'm wondering if they actually watched the show. Are there some social agenda issues going on? There may be the odd ones you could read into it. Yeah, they had a binary character in there, but you know what? They didn't say anything about the character being binary. It was just a character that popped up. The actor was, but There was no issue made about it. Quite frankly, I think a lot of franchises need to take that tact. If you're gonna cast people to play certain parts, just cast them. Don't make it some kind of social agenda statement. Just do it. The person who did the acting was great, and good on them. I think she likes to use her, and that's fine. But overall, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, if I had to give it a star rating, I would go 4.5 stars. I rarely do a 5, but I'd almost be there. But I would have given it 4.5. I'm not giving it an official rating because to me, Star Trek is hard to legitimately rate because I do love it so much. Am I wearing rose-colored glasses a little bit? Maybe a little bit, but I'm also not stupid. I know good entertainment when I see it, and I've been seeing it with Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So take what I say with however many grains of salt you may want. Believe what I say or don't. Trust my word or don't. This is just my opinion. I love this series. I know I've said it several times, but that's how much I do. So I hope that Star Trek fans out there give this show a chance, because there are some out there that have just cut all ties, that the stench of the STD is infesting them to such a degree that they don't want to take what could be the penicillin for STD, and this to me was a good dose of penicillin. So I know I've used a lot of weird metaphors this time, but hey, it's my show, so I just really wish people would like this. I wish everyone out there could feel the way I do. I feel that about so many things. But in the long run, I hope that those of you out there enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I really hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you did like this ramble, please give it a thumbs up, share it, spread the word that this is a great show and worthy of a chance. Hey, what would happen? You spend one episode, you don't like it, you don't go back to it. At least give it a chance. But whatever you do decide to watch, whether it's the new adventures of the USS Enterprise under Captain Christopher Pike or something else, I just hope you find something that you can really enjoy, because that's all that this is about. Take care, everyone, and until next time, goodbye.